Good morning to you. We reached Friday. Very late night last night, very late night conversation with a very decent human being, and many of the things he said I'd have to spend the day thinking about. So I've started slowly and I'm drifting into the day. So I'm a little late for my bibliomancy, bibliomancy being the act of dipping into a random book, finding a random sentence and seeing what it tells you. And today I reached up to one of my bookshelves and came out with a novel by a writer I absolutely revere, Hermann Hesse. I picked Siddhartha randomly off the shelf without looking. I just found a book and picked it off. But it's Hermann Hesse. Hermann Hesse, a writer I think is as fine a writer as has ever lived, right from a book called Another Way, which I read when I was an adolescent, which opened my eyes to so many things, through to The Glass Bead Game, which is one of the truly great novels, in which he achieves something really extraordinary. He writes about what it is to be good. I think it's the most magnificent, extraordinary book. Interestingly, Siddhartha, I read 20, 30 years ago. It's been on my radar over the last year or two. I've been thinking I would like to go back and reread it. So perhaps this is the encouragement I need. Anyone who doesn't know, Siddhartha is his telling of the story of the man who became the Buddha. So let's find a random sentence and see if it says anything particular to me. Let's have a look. For a moment, the beautiful woman nodded and smiled, then disappeared into the grove, followed by her servants. For a moment, the beautiful woman nodded and smiled, then disappeared into the grove, followed by her servants. In some ways, as a sentence, it doesn't say very much. It's clearly just an advance of the narrative. But what does it evoke for me? The woman smiled and nodded. There's a sense of connection and agreement. Something has been, some conclusion of agreement has been reached. And then she disappeared into the grove. We're in a natural setting, followed by her servants. A sense of those who wait on her, make things possible for her, those she employs. A sense perhaps of her power. That evoking for me, the first thing that came into my head when I read it was actually the poetry of W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats. That sense of the mysterious figure within the natural landscape, who in Yeats is, often perhaps a mythical figure rather than a real figure. From that sentence in Siddhartha, I don't know whether the woman he's talking about is a real figure or a mythical figure or whatever. But just that sense is such a profoundly human, gentle experience evoked for me in that of you're talking with someone, you are within the world, an agreement is reached, and then the person leaves and the day moves on. It's this heart of human interaction is to meet, to travel a small journey together, to reach some kind of destination, agreement or not, and then to walk in separate directions and to leave. And so it is in life. We meet, we leave, we connect, we disconnect, constantly weaving a web of relationship, continuing relationship or past relationship, and all within the framework of the forest that we live in. Even if it's a forest we've cut down, but still we live in the echoes of it. I don't claim this says anything about Hermann Hesse or about Siddhartha. I say this is what that single sentence evokes for me. And today I will spend some time thinking of people who I have met, reached some kind of agreement with, and then they or I or both have moved on. I hope you have some wonderful meetings today. If you'd like to talk about working with me, I coach and I mentor, and I will be an unconditional cheerleader for you as you face up to decisions that you might want to make yourself live a better life. If you want to reach out to me, reach out. It is that simple. We can meet, come to an agreement, and when the time is right, move on. Have a wonderful Friday.